the channel. This is TZ Knows Wrestling, and we've got a lot to unpack here. So, as you all know already, CM Punk is our new undisputed WWE champion. And of course, like I said, Sami Zayn got hit with that Christian Randy Orton treatment. 9 days after winning the title, his reign is done. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as happy with it. Now sleeping on it. CM Punk kind of is a hypocrite a little bit, kind of. I mean, he did say that, after the Raw after Mania, he was talking to Cody. He was like, yeah, you never know when a WWE Championship is just gonna fall out the sky. Now, that was 3 months ago. I don't think he expected it to be Sami Zayn, but this whole thing is very iffy. He had backstage issues and now he's WWE champion. I don't know if this was the deal. I don't know. Like I said, I'm cool with him being the champion because I think this is gonna, come to the forefront of SummerSlam. Like, what's the bigger match? So I see what it does, but it kind of came at the expense of Sammy's reign. He only was the champion for 9 days. But we're gonna get into that. But how's everybody doing, man? We're gonna go into the whole Raw. Raw was actually pretty solid. Of course, it came out with Seth Rollins. He's popping this shit up with Roman and all this extra stuff, and we've heard it all before when they having matches and stuff like that. But LA Knight came out and popped this shit, and then I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of it makes sense. LA Knight has been held down. Everybody wants it down and pushed to the top, which I see why. LA Knight has always been at second or third there, because if you look back in 2022, 2023, the bloodline was running the whole thing. Of course, they beat shit out of him. They beat shit out of everybody. Had championship matches and he failed because the bloodline got involved, all this stuff. But, dude, LA Knight, shut up. You keep talking about the bloodline this, the bloodline that. Dude, you gonna just keep talking about these folks and they gonna keep beating the shit at you. Stop talking about them. Every single time you talk about the bloodline, he always ends up getting super kicked or gets put in the talking death grip. Please stop. Even he today, like after you got done talking to Seth and Seth walked away, who was in the ring? Big Jim. Big Jim super kicked the shit out of him. And then even Jim's like, I'm tired of it. And I think Jimmy's the most scariest one out of all of them. Between Roman, Jacob, and Jay, Jimmy's the one who's actually trying to, keep the peace. And Peacekeeper gone. Peacekeeper is gone. He's off the chain. He's crazy. So he said, I'm gonna go to SmackDown. I'm gonna get Solo too. I said, oh, alrighty, okay. See, stop messing with them folks, man. You have to keep the name out your mouth. Jay wasn't there tonight because he's dealing with this whole thing with his divorce. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know about that, so we're not gonna get into that. But after that, we had a tag team title match between the Street Profits and the Vision. And before that happened, we saw Paul talk to the Vision, and he was like, basically, Paul was like, hey, y'all ain't did nothing for me to come back to be our wise man. Okay, he said, well, if y'all don't win, don't come back. And it was looking like they weren't gonna win. But of course, somebody got involved. We weren't expecting Maxine to be involved, but she got involved and hit Dawkins in the nuts. And now we have new tag team champions. I'm not happy about that either. It was very unexpected, which is fine. But they just won the title like 2 weeks ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. They just won the title. So now that reign is over too. So I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I don't know what this means for the Street Profits. I don't know what's going to happen. They might have another rematch at Saturday Night's Main Event, which is like, what? I think another week from now. Or the one in Atlanta. Who knows what's going to happen. But I just wasn't expecting that to happen so early. I think that was like much. I feel like that was going to be a PLE type of thing, but no, they didn't do that. So the Vision is champions again. It's really just Braun and Austin Theory because Logan Paul is still out, and who knows when Bronson Reed's returning. He's been on Instagram and Twitter. He's been working out. He lost a lot of weight, so I'm not sure where he's gonna come back and be into the fold. And after they won, Paul was there again. He said, "Well, y'all won." He said somebody got something done, and Austin said, "Thank you, wise man." He said, "I'm not talking to you." Okay, I don't know where Paul Heyman got this little bitterness from. I'm not sure. I don't know if it came from him getting put through the barricade. I don't know, but he's talking wrong like he just ain't shit. Which is like, all right, stop talking to these folks crazy. But after that, we had what else happened after that? I think I'm gonna go to the Raquel and Sol Ruca match. That was a pretty good match. Nothing really much I can really say about it. You know, both of them. I think they had little botches in the match. Sol Ruca had little botches in the match, but she always made up for them. And like I said, when you're a high flyer, that happens. It's gonna happen. So she recovered basically fine from it. You know, no injuries, no nothing. Of course, Liv and Roxanne got involved, but then EO came out and helped Sol Ruca win. And you know, that's about it. So I think that was a pretty solid match. After that, we got announced there's gonna be a gauntlet match next week for the IC title, which a lot of people are in. And I want Javon to win. It's time for Javon to be a singles competitor that is gonna be pushed. Because you gotta think about it. Trick is pushed. So Ruka is champion. Oh, Trick is champion. Oba's finna battle Brock Lesnar. And Javon Evans is still at that bottom, which I don't like at all. Because I think even though he's the youngest, I think he has the most, what you want to call it? I think he has the most star power, you know, because he can do a lot of things. If you go back to his indies and you go back to his Deadlock pro wrestling background, bro was getting it in. So of course I feel like they should use that and just, you know, say let's see what he does. So I think he should win the gauntlet and go to SummerSlam and beat Penta. That's what I think. Argue with your mama. That's how I feel. But that's gonna happen. And of course, Paul came out, talked about Brock Lesnar versus Oba in the Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam. And what else can you say, man? I mean, Paul went out there basically saying Brock's gonna kill him, Brock's gonna do this, Brock's gonna do that. And Oba came out. Oba let him talk for a little bit more time, and Oba was like, "Look, bro, you can say all you want to. I don't care. I'm gonna kill him again. I am gonna beat him again." That's gonna be the forefront. Now, we can go back and look and just be like, okay, I'd rather see Brock's career end in his hometown to Oba than him ending it to Gunther. Because I thought that's how it was going to go. Because Gunther is the career killer. Now, I'm glad they're not taking that because, well, Gunther already beat Goldberg, he beat John Cena, he beat AJ Styles. Out of all three of those guys, John Cena is the biggest name on that list. Just gotta just put it out there. He's the biggest name on that list. What else can you really do? Like say, yeah, Brock Lesnar, yeah, I mean that's a huge name to kill. That's a huge career to kill, but it's like, that's not really doing much for Gunther. It's not really doing much for Gunther already because when you beat Cena, it catapulted him way up as the biggest bad guy in the WWE. So let's just, let's do something else. And of course, they're taking Oba and basically giving that career path of Brock Lesnar, which was he was the next big thing back in 2002 until he left in 2004. We're gonna see what happens. And I think Oba should win. It's already been kind of some rumors backstage that he's leaving anyway. We just didn't expect it to be WrestleMania, but he came back. So we're going to go into Minnesota. It's gonna be Hell in a Cell. Brock Lesnar has never been beaten in the Hell in a Cell. He's beat Undertaker twice, which is like, hey, Undertaker's the one who started Hell in a Cell, which is true. And you beat the man who basically started. Undertaker is Undertaker, so of course. So Oba, I think Oba's gonna win. Oba's gonna end it, and then we're gonna go into the forefront of who's Oba's gonna go get his title match against, probably Roman or Seth. Most likely gonna be Roman. I think that's the bigger match. Who knows when it's gonna happen, but I think that's gonna be the bigger match. But other than that, we had Ethan Page, Rusev versus Dragon Lee and Chad Gable. Once again, pretty standard match. Ethan Page and Rusev got the win, and basically after the match they got attacked. Joe Hendry started to come out. Joe Hendry got his ass whooped too. Pence didn't make his ass out there, or Javon. They was like, hell no. We already got a match next week. We ain't gonna get involved in that shit. I don't blame them. But that was a pretty solid match. And after we had the main event, which was supposed to be Sami Zayn versus Cody, but early in the night, Cody got attacked by Gunther and had to go to the hospital and all this extra stuff. All right. Now who's gonna be Sami's opponent? Where we are, we're in Chicago, of course. Who's coming? CM Punk's gonna come there. It's a pretty solid match. Sam put up a good fight, but like I said, you're in Chicago. CM Punk is God in Chicago, basically. So, and in the same arena, he's had so much success. He's won his IC title there, and he's won one of the most biggest championships in his life there in 2011, which was WWE Championship against John Cena. And once again, third time's a charm. He beat Sammy for the championship. Now, the problem that's gonna happen probably is gonna be like, hey, CM Punk's a hypocrite. And people gonna call CM Punk a hypocrite because guess what? He was gone for 3 months and now he's in a title match, which The Rock basically did. Well, no, that's what people are saying on Twitter. I don't agree with that because Rock was gone for 10 years and just came back and beat CM Punk for the championship and went on and left and did all his extras. Now, hey, I'm with you on that. I'm not a big fan of The Rock. Even though I got his shirt on, doesn't mean I'm just, I don't agree with it. But CM Punk, like you said, you never know when a championship is going to fall out of the sky. Now, I don't agree how they did it because I'm like, did they just give Sammy the time just to shut him up? Or what was the point of doing that? So now, I guess that means CM Punk is going to be on Friday Night SmackDown now. I'm not sure how long it's going to be the title, but I think they're going to come to a forefront of CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Do I want to see that match? Probably. I'm just not a fan of Cody always being in the mix. Not a fan of it. Now, people thought, oh, Sammy's going to be a filler champion for Brock Lesnar so they can make it bigger for Oba versus Brock. No, I never thought about that. No. Because Oba and Brock's matches don't need a title. It doesn't really need a title. Just them alone beating the shit out of each other. That's a huge match. But this whole thing, like, Cody just needs to have some filler matches. He needs to go on and actually do something else, then come back to the title picture. Let him be gone for a couple months. Let him have some other matches like CM Punk and Sami Zayn. They had other matches in between of their championship reigns. They had other things going on. So I think this is probably good. Like, who knows what's going to happen at SummerSlam? But I'm pretty sure it's going to be CM Punk versus Cody, night 1. And the night 2 main event is going to be Roman versus Seth, wherever's there. And then, you know, in October, it's going to be Money in the Bank. So I think Cody's going to either win that. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Or Gunther's going to win it. I think Gunther should win it, but we don't know what's going on there. So pretty much that's all that really happened. Overall, this was a pretty good Raw. You know, in Chicago. They always go to Chicago. And CM Punk's always top tier there. So overall, it was a pretty good. We didn't see Roman. And I want to get into something else. Sheamus is gone from WWE apparently. He's not renewing his contract, which is kind of sad because as long as I've been a WWE fan, Sheamus has been there. The first time I seen Sheamus was a PLE, well, a pay-per-view around that time, was when he beat Cena for the championship at TLC, which is still kind of like, was he supposed to win? Because his reaction to it was like, wow, I won. So that is a thing. I think I'm gonna touch on that probably later on this week too. So that happened. I mean, I hate to see him go because he's not a Grand Slam champion because he never won the IC title. That's the only championship he has to win was the IC championship. Now, if they want to do a swerve, which I told my girl, she was like, who do you think is going to be the challenger? I said it's going to be CM Punk, Randy Orton, or Sheamus. That's what I thought. Now, if you want to put it out there, it could have been Randy. I would like to see that. That'd be a huge swerve. It would have been Randy. So we can have a rematch against Cody and Randy. Because that match, it was okay at Mania, but it could have been better because you had Pat McAfee there and everybody hated that. So, but overall, I think it was a good Raw. Was not really much else to cover, really. People probably gonna hate CM Punk's reign too because Sammy lost, and Sammy's probably gonna be crying about it on Friday, this Friday, which he has a right to, because you gotta think about it. After 9 days, I'm not champion anymore, and I didn't even get a chance to really bask in it. I just had to have a title match, even though it's not even on my show. I gotta have a match, and you're not even my general manager, so that's the thing. But that's all I have to cover today. We're gonna talk about some more things this week. I'm gonna go back. Probably we're gonna cover Sheamus' whole career since he's leaving, and I think he deserves it. You know, I don't know. I just wish him better in his future endeavors. If this is a true thing that he's not gonna come back, which like I said, is sad. But what else can you do? You know what I mean? So that's it, guys. I'm gonna cover some more things this week. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again later on this week. See you later.